4, 3, 2, 1, go. Hey guys, this is Ryan here, bringing on Soccer for Commentary. This is going to be the second set in Group H of the round 32 of the Bigfile MSL 2010, and my back is killing me for some reason that I don't understand, so yay for me. It's going to be on Triathlon between Fantasy and JangBi. Yes, we're going to have Fantasy at the 4 o'clock position in red as the turn player, at the 8 o'clock position in yellow as the protoss player. We're going to have JangBi, or JangBi. I used to call him JangBi back when I found out that that's actually the way you pronounce his name, but I think JangBi somehow sounds cooler. There's another letter that looks like a swastika. But yeah, just everybody else pretty much calls him JangBi, and I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Just because it's easier to say than JangBi. I have to really open my mouth. JangBi! Something like that, but instead of just JangBi. Just JangBi. He's just so JangBi. Something like that. So yeah, this is going to be a triathlon map I really, really enjoy for TVP because it can bring some very interesting stuff. Very cool for protoss once they get their tech going, because they can get in Dark Archon and just start mind controlling all the neutral arbiters, because they get them and they're just fully usable arbiters, and they get them at that point with full energy, because I believe the second the match starts, the neutral arbiters flying around just start charging their energy. So you get a fully energized, ready to go arbiter if you can bother to waste the resources on a Dark Archon at that point in the game. This is a bit, it is a bit of stuff to do there, need to get those researches going and all that stuff, but overall can really become a big path, especially if you can keep the Dark Archon alive and get more than one arbiter. If you can get several arbiters, you can pretty much get a few arbiters with spells ready to go for free. Just, don't let the first thing you do be... Yeah, don't let the first thing that you do with them be, an EMP in their face. As long as that's not what happens, you're going to be in overall good position. JangBi sending a fairly early scout, going to the wrong direction first, then going to spot Fantasy was actually rolling off, so might not get the scout inside. Some more text that has arrows on it. If that's math, I'm bad at that. I also see the number 2, but I don't know exactly what that means. Quick Nexus to start off from JangBi before the gateway, inside his secondary. And meanwhile has that probe inside and attacking the supply depot, but that's not really going to accomplish too much for him. Fantasy, meanwhile, just good old standard going. As soon as that Marine pops out, the probe is going to be forced away. So at the very least, JangBi just being annoying. If nothing else, to make Fantasy here. Our base is being attacked constantly. Oh, God. Yeah, something along that. There you go. Probe run away, getting a few shots at. But this is a match I'm looking forward to, because JangBi, a long time touted as one of the best, if not the best by some people, as one of the best Protoss versus Terran players, PvT players. And he's definitely one of his teammates, of course, always a rival for that title, Stork. And now I think everybody seems to have a new rival for that, and Snow. Snow, we're going to see whether Snow, I don't want to call that right away, because Snow is a new player, and a lot of new players often just start off streaky, really streaky, so we're going to see how that goes. But yeah, JangBi hasn't had a long slumping season this season, didn't really play that well, him and Stork. His entire team really didn't play very well, missing the playoffs, but I think he's gotten some of it back now. I'm mining out some minerals there. But Fantasy, meanwhile, has done a great job. He's had an absolute revival of his career. Absolutely total and absolute revival of his career. Pretty much while Bisu was away, he led the team. Him and the Zergs basically led the team. And he's really come back as a guy who can win in the A's, as a guy who is the not just the other option, aside from Bisu, but really a guy who can be one of the aces. Has become very solid, kind of gotten some of his old Fantasy magic back, and honestly, I'm hoping that he can back that up by getting a title, because he was twice so close before, back then, maybe even people were, not maybe, but just people were even calling him more of a fluke, a streaky guy, a guy that got lucky, but 2 consecutive OSL finals is not luck, that's skill. And he truly did a great job in doing so. So I'm really hoping that whether OSL or MSL, he can prove himself by getting himself a title. It's just a lot of players in the league that are overdue for a title. Like Effort was, I suppose, getting his OSL's win was kind of bittersweet for Flash, but at the same time, he's one of those guys that has the potential to win a title. and deserves at least one title out there. And I definitely feel Fantasy is one of them. But both players, actually JangBi killing one of those neutral arbiters in the air, so maybe going for Dark Archons is not one of his later strategies, but at the very least you want to kill that one just to be able to get some early access to your eggs. But he is working on his observatory, but of course you want that observatory to fly straight into your opponent's base, straight into Fantasy's base in this case. So that's probably what that's going to be for. And okay, just SCV standing out close to minerals there at the upper left-hand position, not quite mining them out right now. So let's actually look at what the guys are doing. JangBi just now getting finished and killing some of his eggs. Going out there and getting his Dragoons into a slightly better position for him to defend himself, just in case his opponent going to go for an early Vulture drop, which I actually don't believe is the case. While Fantasy actually went for a expansion of his zone in that 3 o'clock secondary, working on his second Expo already. Has nothing but a few tanks killing off his eggs at the moment. And a starport out there is just going to float away. Has a Wraith in there which I did not spot. Meanwhile, just getting his starport to a more comfortable position. Probably going to start working on a control tower. Still only has one Wraith out there, so nothing much else. Opening himself up, getting his armory going. Getting his upgrades up there, and he's going to start working on his factory count, I think, as soon as he manages to plop that command center down. And there are currently girls out there looking at me through the window. How very interesting. That's cool, I guess. But anyway, get away from my window, lollies! Stop tempting me! Internet humor, you gotta love it. So let's see, the armory on the way. And so we are going to be seeing the Expo coming up fairly soon. Do see the Expo coming up there for JangBi at the Natural Expo. Still we're doing coming up there, so we're going to start working on some Zealot count right now. Mostly Dragoons, but JangBi, I believe, not a player that really goes for the insanely heavy goon count like his teammate Stork likes to do. Stork known for notoriously / he's kind of famous / notorious, I guess, for it, but going for very, very heavy goon play in his PvT. It's kind of make it or break it play, because it gives him an advantage of having a lot of goons out there, long range, powerful units, but not as many zealots and a lot of goons early on, so it can really backfire on him, because for one thing, goons glitch, and one thing, they can die easily if caught badly. Vultures, for instance, when played very well, and when, despite the fact that Stork has incredible Dragoon micro, he really can get caught by the best of players. So Fantasy will just flying that Wraith around, using it as a scout, and working on his comm station right now, just getting his third base up as well. Going to be seeing that for JangBi as well. Just not getting his control tower, while JangBi getting his Temple Archives, and working on his Stargate already. So JangBi going to be working on, it seems like, actually 4 base arbiters, because it does seem that he put down a Nexus at that upper left hand beyond the eggs. So he knows he needs to compete, spotted out that third base coming from Fantasy, and he knows he needs to compete. Fantasy just now adding additional factories. So neither player really going for any aggressive moves, any pushes, anything crazy, just getting a bunch of bases going, not really threatening each other at all. JangBi opening up that upper left hand for himself so he can safely defend it once there comes a necessity to do so. And it seems like we're just going to have higher, rather mid to high level tech right off the bat. We're going to be arbiters and science vessels without any real aggressive action. Otherwise, did see some vultures out there for Fantasy. Fantasy, of course, one of his nicknames, or rather his nickname overall, being the Vulture Terrorist. Just not getting his EBA going, so turrets are going to be ready, though, for their arbiters to help out. Going to want to set up some mines with time as well. Get those anti-recall defenses going. Forge on the way as well for JangBi, so he's going to be getting his arbiters going. Only on his 5th gateway right now. I think it was the 6th one they added in, so just now getting his army production scan at the perfect time for Fantasy on those eggs, spotting the eggs and spotting the probes, so he knows that the 4th base at the upper left position. Meanwhile, has 2 observers inside of his own base, 3 observers inside of his own base. He has no idea about that one Wraith that's at half health. Been flying around, giving him some ideas of what's going on and being overall very annoying for his opponents. But finally has some anti-recall defenses going up with in those turrets. And JangBi finally has a bunch of gateways coming up to get some forces out there. Just finally going to start working on getting some zealots out there to support his dragoons. And I think they're going to start coming up there in a large number as soon as zealot speed kicks in. Weapons 1 also. Photon cannons coming up. I think these are mostly anti-drop defenses from JangBi. Anti-vulture defenses, because Fantasy is very well known for his vulture play. but not relying too heavily on it. Just have a few vultures out there, milling around, being annoying if the opportunity presents itself. Second army are in the way as well, so Fantasy definitely want to get those upgrades going. Heavy duty, because I do believe I saw another armory already up there for him. Dropship as well, so definitely is thinking of going for some vulture dropship play. Has already planted some mines around the map just to be annoying, just to spot the movement of players, and around the middle, just to spot those dragoons. But all those mines getting cleared up, but they're at least giving Fantasy some measure of what's going on. I believe he had a position set up for himself at that upper right-hand base,